Okay, okay, okay. So this is the first time I'm doing such a thing. Never recorded any video of this kind. And this is a response to Tucker Carlson to his half-hour video, over half an hour, blasting Israel and spreading a whole bunch of lies, nonsense, stupid claims, just things that make zero sense, don't add up, contradict itself. He's been at it for over a year now, blasting Israel and just being full of hate. But this one was just like over the top. I've never seen that bad before. I just felt compelled to like respond to this. It's just like I didn't see a proper response to address every single one of his points in a proper way. So there are plenty of people who don't know all the facts, and they may believe him. And there are plenty of people who do know the facts, but they're kind of like weakened by stuff he says. They don't know exact. It's important to put stuff back into place, to put the facts straight, to correct the record, and to answer point by point, to signal out what the lies he's saying and just the nonsense. Most of it is just laughable nonsense. Not even like some sophisticated lie. Not the usual like fight over Palestinians, Israelis, the whole like that usual thing. This is none of that. This is just lies, just nonsense. With his like drama, with him like saying it's not a theory, it's a fact, and all that Tucker stuff that like are just awful. Just so childish, so stupid. So we're gonna go all through all that. I'm gonna go point by point. I'm gonna pause to check out what he's saying, and then I'm gonna respond. So off the bat, right away he starts off with something pathetic. He just throws one line about how people who say that joining Russia during the Second World War was a bad thing are suddenly Holocaust deniers? Basically, it's complicated, but basically he's trying to say that he had multiple guests on the show who are saying that Hitler and the Germans were not the bad people. One said that Churchill was the bad one. They're not. He's saying that multiple guests of his said that Germans were not the bad ones in the Second World War. So that's ludicrous. That's obviously insane and stupid and ridiculous. So how does he try to defend that? By explaining that siding with Russia was on the other side, and Russia is very evil because Russia is a communist, and Stalin, all of that, killed millions and millions of people, maybe even more than the Germans. So therefore, saying that is not as bad. He just throws a line there, like how it's not that bad to say that. It's not so, and if you say that, it doesn't mean you're a Holocaust denier. But that's obviously just insane. To say that we shouldn't have fought the Germans in the Second World War, America shouldn't have fought them because Stalin is also bad. Germany was taking over the entire Europe, wanted to take over England too, wanted to take over the entire Europe, took over the entire Europe, then moved on to Africa, was starting to take over Africa, moved on to Asia, was starting to... Hitler wanted to take over the world. And he didn't only want to kill Jews. He wanted to kill anyone he didn't like. Anyone who wasn't in the hierarchy of the German, whatever it's called. Anyone who was mentally ill, he killed. Gay, I don't know. Anyone, he did the most crazy atrocities against humanity everywhere. Stalin, of course, was no less evil, but it was a whole different story. It was someone who had a dictatorship, communist leader in his own country, not taking over other countries, and it was very awful. But how could he compare the two? He's not a threat to the world. It's like based on Tucker's own non-interventionalist, why would we go and start correcting Russia's issues? We would never do that. But we would try to stop Hitler from taking over the world. That's just basic. So how do you defend that? How do you defend your guests saying that Hitler and Germany were not the bad ones in the Second World War? That's just awful. And that does lead to the second point, which is they are anti-Semites. Why are we saying they're anti-Semites? Not because that claim on its own is anti-Semite. It's just when you say such stupid things, it's only because you hate. Like, why would you say such a thing about the Second World War? Why would you say such a thing? It's either because maybe some people are just trying to say whatever people say. They like saying the opposite. You have some people like that, but in the case of Tucker and his guests, they hate the Jews so much that they just need to say something to go against whatever the Jewish perspective is. It's called, just like there's Trump derangement syndrome, there's Israel derangement syndrome. It's like, it makes you deranged. You're just saying deranged things. So this is an example of a deranged thing that he's saying. We shouldn't have fought Germany because Stalin was worse. That's just a deranged thing to say. The only reason you would say such deranged, Tucker's not a deranged, maybe he wasn't, now he might be, but he wasn't a deranged person. The only reason that would lead him to say such deranged things is because his severe Israel deranged syndrome. He just hates Israel or Jews so much that he just says insane things. That's point number one. Point number two, okay, we'll get to point number two in a second. Okay, on to the next point. Literally laughable. Just laughable. Just, again, Israel derangement syndrome. Just so laughable, so pathetic, so stupid, so childish. A normal person would never say that. It's just like, how do you... Okay, I'll get to it and then I'll explain more. He's trying to explain and going on and on how Israel is insignificant. The population is less than New Jersey. It's the size of New Jersey, but the GDP is much less than New Jersey. It's just insignificant. Israel is just insignificant to the world. If you haven't noticed, Israel is just very insignificant. And America is just crazy by thinking about Israel all the time. It's just like mind-blowing. Israel is like the upfront, the top tech in the world is produced in Israel. It's called tech. It's called Startup Nation for a reason. It has probably the most startups in the tech sphere. It has probably the most startups, either number one or number two in the world. In the world, even though it's only 9 million people, the investment that people pour from the world in the tech industry in Israel is maybe the highest in the world or second to highest. Only competes with San Francisco. Cybersecurity, tech startups, and other inventions, by the way, in other fields also, but definitely in tech. And it's not like I would tell you, okay, they're number one in producing bananas. It'd also be cool, but bananas are that important. Tech is the most important thing in the world right now. By far the most important. All billionaires right now in the top charts, all the top the richest people in the world are in the tech sphere. Tech is the most important thing in the world right now, by far. AI, tech. Israel is the top of that. Super significant, and that's why the Abraham Accords, that's why the countries around are dying. Even the Muslim countries who were hating Israel are dying to do peace, to make peace with Israel, because Israel is so vital for their security, because Israel is such an important country. That's one, as far as the tech, as far as the startups, as far as that. Another thing, their intelligence. Their intelligence is absolutely number one in the world. Everyone saw that with Iran now, with a 12-day war, with other, with the pagers in Lebanon. Israel is number one in intelligence. Number one. Israel is located in a very, very strategic area in the Middle East, right near Egypt, where the canal is, where the ships go. Very strategic area. Israel is an absolute global superpower. Absolute global superpower. Everyone knows that. Everyone around knows that. Everyone feels that. And the whole world talks about Israel because of that. It's not only America that talks about Israel, like Tucker is trying to portray, is because some foreign influence, some AIPAC is infiltrating the Congress, and that's why we keep talking about Israel. No. Everyone in the world is talking about Israel, whether it's because of the war, but also Israel is just on the map. Israel is a global superpower in every sense. I would say Israel is definitely one of the 10 most important countries in the world. Not because I'm Jewish and I'm from Israel. It's because that's just the facts on the ground. What Israel gives the world, what Israel produces, whether it's intelligence, like I said, the tech, the inventions. Israel is up there, up front in the map with all the important elitist things in the last 50 years, but definitely in the last 30 years. So to argue with that is, again, just stupid. Another example of the Israel derangement syndrome. Then to his next point, so then he'll go on to say how some amount of missiles are in Israel versus other missiles. Like Israel has half the... How does that have to do with anything? Israel is in a very serious war. So that's why Israel is dealing with all those missiles. Like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Oh, and just speaking about the significance of Israel, Israel created the Iron Dome, which America is trying to copy, actually. Trump said that he wants the Iron Dome around the United States, and Canada actually wants to join with that. So it's going to go around Canada too. Israel's doing that. Israel invented that. So Israel is very unimportant, not significant. I guess they are significant for military equipment, for inventions in the military sphere that Israeli companies produce all over the world, manufacture, produce, and invent. Then he talks about Egypt, how America is supporting Egypt because of Israel. Complete lie. Complete lie. Egypt is right by the canal where the ships go. That's why America was attacking recently the Houthis in Yemen, because they were attacking the ships that were going through that canal. It's a major shipping avenue right by Egypt, and that's why America believes in keeping Egypt on their good terms. That's why America invests in Egypt. That's always been the case, and has nothing to do with Israel. A complete lie that Tucker is saying now for the first time because he needed to fill up his half-hour video and to throw in as many lies as possible. But no, Egypt has nothing to do with that. I don't know if Israel even wants America to help Egypt. America's helping Egypt for America's purposes, because America believes not in the naivete of Tucker that you could just hide in your corner and everything in the world will be fine. America knows, leaders in America know, including Trump, that if you hide in your corner, the world will blow up. So you gotta do what you gotta do in the right places, and a lot of times you do it wrong, but you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the world in check. And Egypt is one of those examples. I don't know if it's the right thing or not. I don't know that, but it has nothing to do with Israel, that's for sure. Complete lie. Okay. Here comes the worst, pathetic, buffoony, laughable, idiotic claim of the entire video. If I want to address one thing out of the whole video, this should be it. Tucker is trying to say that America's relationship with China and India is getting worse because of its support of Israel. That is like, I don't even, the man is like off the charts. Like, I don't even know how to start addressing such a thing. Every 3-year-old knows that China's primary goal is to take over the world, economically and maybe even other ways, to take over the world, and by that, to take over the king of the world, which is America. That's what China is trying to do since its inception, basically, as its current, the current state of China for the past 30, 40 years. It's trying to take over America. For him to say that Israel has anything to do with that, China is trying to take over America. Just simple. Just trying to take over America. They're rivals because they're rivals. Now, till Trump came in, America just handed over whatever China wanted, just let China do whatever they want. Trump came and said, no, we're going to stop that. And by that, the relationship with China started becoming more, there started being more tension. But how does Israel have to do with that? To say that the Gaza war has anything to do with the relationship between America and China? That's just ludicrous. It just shows you how Tucker, in the name of his hate to Israel, nothing will stop him. Nothing. He'll just make up the craziest, stupidest. My focus is not even the craziest. The stupidest, most obvious lies, those stupidest, childish claims, to claim that America and China This relationship is not ideal because of Israel. It's just insane. And India has a pretty good relationship with America. Recently, it's not doing so well because of the trade war that Trump started. Trump was going like, okay, we're going to start doing tariffs. We're not going to let you take advantage of America. So India's trying to show a little bit of a muscle, and we're going to join the other companies with the other countries. We're going to join Russia. We're going to do our own thing. Russia, Brazil, China. We're going to do our own thing to show a little muscle against Trump. Israel did not come up. Has nothing to do with it. Nothing. And for Tucker to try to claim that Israel is part of this, it just shows you how he is just so unreliable. When he could say such a stupid thing, you just know that when he says something else and you're not sure if what he's saying is not, just remember this to show how off the chart he is, how he can make up such nonsense. And when he says something that you're not sure if it's nonsense, just remember this. He's trying to say also that America is busy with Israel, so that takes away from their ability to fight China, which is also just absurd, stupid, just like whatever. So then he goes on to talk about the Nikki Haley thing. That Nikki Haley said that America needs Israel more than Israel needs America. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with that statement, but it's not as far off as Tucker makes it seem. Because Israel, let's start with why America needs Israel. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel is the only normal country in the Middle East. That's just a fact. Like Saudi Arabia started becoming normal, but they're not democracies. They're not like the leaders there could do whatever they want, and they're not going to get punished. They're not like the leaders there are dictators or kings. It's not a real democracy. It's not a Western country. Israel's the only one. Now, if you believe, which most leaders in America do believe, that America should have some awareness of what goes on around the world, otherwise trouble could happen. The world is just one globe. You can't just ignore what's happening in the rest of the world. You don't have to intervene necessarily. You should be restrained, but you shouldn't ignore it. And Trump very much believes in that. The entire U.S. Army keeps building because you just have to be prepared. You just have to be ready. You just have to know what's going on. That's why you have bases around the world. So now, I do believe in non-intervention, generally speaking, but with measure, not idiotic and stupid the way Tucker just presents it, like shallow, like so it's just like childish. But Israel is a reliable ally. Israel has the top intelligence, like we said before. Israel has top intelligence. Israel does help out America as far as that, as far as also military inventions. Like America does supply the jets and whatever, but different sophisticated small things in the mechanism there is coming from Israel. It's coming from Israel. Plenty of it is coming from Israel. Israel is top notch when it comes to these areas, as you saw with the pagers, as you saw with the Iron Dome. So America does need Israel in that regard. It does. It does need a reliable ally in that area. Yes. As far as how much Israel needs America, Israel does not need America as much as Israel does need America for the friendship. The money is insignificant. Israel's economy is very strong, as there's a video circulating around recently where Tucker himself says that Israel could stand on their own. Now he changed it because it serves better his new video, but he said that just a few months ago, how Israel could totally stand on its own and America shouldn't support it. And that's the truth. The truth is Israel's economy is very, very stable. It's in a very good place. During the 2008 crisis, Israel was unfazed at all. Israel did great. No problem at all. During 2020, during COVID, Israel did cruise right through it. And even during the war now, which cripples countries, crushes, Israel is doing just fine. Israel is doing just fine. Israel's economy is very strong. Not a free country like America. Has a lot to learn from America's economy for sure, but Israel's economy is very resilient, very strong. Israel's doing great. So Israel is not that dependent on America. It's really dependent on America only in two areas. One is specific equipment that only America could provide, because Israel right now, not yet, does not produce on their own. They did not manufacture. And more importantly is America's friendship. having their back in the UN, stopping the embargoes, stopping the UN's crusade against Israel. It's just about the friendship, which is really not so much to ask for someone who has a moral compass, for someone who knows what's right, what's wrong, what's barbarism, what's Western civilization, for someone to stand by Israel in their fight against brutal monsters. It's not that much to ask for the backing. So, not that I 100% agree with Nikki Haley that America needs Israel more than Israel needs America, but it's not that far off like Tucker makes it seem. No, it's not. So then he has this little comment over there. He has so many little snarky things that I just almost can't ignore any of them, even though it's so many different points. Officially, he's only talking about 4 points, but he has a ton of like lines that he just throws in there, sprinkles in there as if it's nothing, but they deserve to be addressed. So he talks about all these crackpot anti-Semites online that Israel is not addressing, and maybe Israel is manufacturing it in order to make everyone like Tucker as part of that pot. No, that's not true. There are anti-Semites out there. Israel has nothing to do with manufacturing. It's just like a blood libel, honestly. He's just making up a theory that Israel is manufacturing the anti-Semitism in order to put everyone in one pot. No, that's not true. And the fact that Israel doesn't attack them, maybe he talks about later in the video, he's basically talking like Nick Fuentes, whatever his name is, Nick Fuentes. He is bothered. Basically, Nick Fuentes is attacking him lately. So he needs to attack him back, and he's wondering why Israel is not attacking Nick Fuentes. Must be Israel is happy about Nick Fuentes, because that proves their point that there's anti-Semitism. No, Israel doesn't need to attack Nick Fuentes because it's obvious. It's obvious. The guy hates Israel, hates Jews, hates this. It doesn't bother us that much. But when he is just going on and making up stuff as if they're facts, that's just like something we don't. That's just something that's something we can't tolerate. It's not the regular anti-Semites. It's their opinion. They hate Jews. Say it. Just say I hate Jews. Fine. That's something we can live with. Just say what you are. Don't be as if you're central, as if you're mainstream, as if you're just a regular American who doesn't hate anybody, who just can't handle what Israel's doing. That's just a different level. That's why it's much more bothersome. It just makes sense. You don't have to come up with all these. A new blood libel. The next awful lie is it's truly hurting the Trump administration. Well, duh, it's hurting the Trump administration because you're making it. People had no problem. Everyone, MAGA who supported Trump, had zero problem with Trump, other than the Arabs in Michigan, maybe. Even them, they know that Trump is trying to make peace. But no one had any problem with Trump being on the Israel side at all, or with the Gaza war at all. You, Tucker, keep ginning up the crowd against Trump for supporting Israel and then saying, oh, it's really hurting Trump. No one had a problem. It wasn't hurting Trump. You are going to Trump supporters and saying, Trump promised to stop the wars and to not intervene, and now he lets Israel, and he's letting Israel roll all over him and use him, and you should turn against Trump. And then Trump, it's hurting your agenda. Oh, Trump, it's hurting your base. It's hurting your support. You are rallying his base against him and then saying that it's hurting his base. It's just so... it's such a, I don't know what to say, betrayal, it's such a snake. You're just a snake, a real snake. Then he goes on to, I would say, the blasphemy. Is that the word? Going on and on about how America is bossed around by Israel. Bossed around by Israel. That's a complete lie, complete blood libel, and Trump and Tucker uses his signature. It's a fact. It's not a theory. It's a fact. It's not a fact. How do I know that that's true? It's not a fact. So, what is his examples? Bibi was walking around the Middle East. Okay, listen to this. He knows that Bibi was walking around the Middle East. Everyone in the Middle, as if Bibi is walking around the Middle. There's no way to go around the Middle East. They're all Arab countries. So Bibi is not running around the Middle East. So that's just factually wrong. But running around the Middle East telling everyone that he owns Trump. That's such a laughable, stupid, childish lie from every angle you look at it. First, this is not a fact. It's something that you heard. It's like basically the definition of a non-fact. If you want to define what a non-fact is, that's a non-fact. That's hearsay. You heard from some leader who probably hates Bibi, who told you that he said that. If you heard that, I don't believe a word you say, Tucker. But you are telling me that some leader said that Bibi told him that he owns Trump. Why do you even bring such a claim in a video? Like, this is triple hearsay. A self-respecting journalist would never quote such a thing. This is like zero. You're not telling us even what leader told you that. Why are we supposed to believe you or that leader? You hate Israel. That leader for sure hates Israel. Why are we supposed to believe any of them? That's A. B, anyone who knows, Bibi is a prime minister for 18 years. He has been a diplomat for over 40 years. You think Bibi would talk that way? You think Bibi would go around saying, I own Trump? It's the stupidest thing to say, and he's shooting himself in the leg. It could get back to Trump. Like, why would he ever say such a thing? It's stupid, bizarre. Next is, Bibi doesn't think that. Because the facts are that he does not own Trump. He does not own Trump at all. What does he have on Trump? Does he have like some blackmail on Trump? He doesn't. There's nothing he has on Trump. Why would he own Trump? What does Trump need Bibi for? He does not own Trump. Trump did say time and time again that he's on Israel's side. Now, maybe that leader that Tucker's quoting said Bibi claimed confidently that Trump is on his side and it's not going to change. Could be Bibi said that because Trump himself said that. Trump said, I'm on Israel's side and that's not going to change because Trump has his morals straight. He is on the side of Western normal people, good people, decent people, peace-loving people, and not on the side of barbaric monsters who behead people and burn people, and just like, I don't even have to describe to you what the Hamas Palestine is. So Trump, been a New Yorker, been American New Yorker for all these years, observing the situation, has always been on Israel's side, because obviously these are normal people, and these are barbaric monsters, so Trump is on Israel's side. Maybe that's what Bibi said? Bibi would never say that and would never think that because that's just not the truth. Trump is not owned by Bibi. Bibi does not own Trump at all, at all. Trump is operating from what he thinks is the right thing to do, and that's evident. So really, you know what this is? This is that same tactic of, remember with Elon Musk, when Elon Musk and Trump were like best friends a couple months ago. And the liberals were hating that. So what did they do? They started saying how Elon owns Trump. Elon owns Trump in order to get to Trump's ego. And that way Trump is going to start to create a rift. And in Hebrew it's called rechilus. It's a crime in the Torah to do such a thing. You go over to Joe and you say, John said that he hates you. John never said that. But that way you create a fight between them. So that's what Tucker's trying to do here. And he says it's a fact. It's not a fact. You heard it from someone who heard it from someone. We have no reason to trust you or that someone. That never happened. Bibi is extremely not the type to say that. He never said that. And he doesn't think that. And the facts are that there's zero reason why that would be true. So he did that. But he goes on. This is not enough. He goes on how Israel is bossing around, humiliating America. How is this really been? Bibi doesn't stop thanking America. Doesn't stop thanking President Trump. Thanks him from the bottom of our heart. We thank you for standing on our side. Everyone in Israel, thank you, Trump. They're naming circles and cities after Trump. Cities named after Trump. Signs, big posters. Trump, thank you so much. How is that bossing around Trump? How is that bossing around America? Everyone in Israel, we love you, America. Thank you so much for being on our side. Thank you so much for being our support. Everyone in Israel says that. The hostages, the released hostages came to Trump, thanked him. They said, we know it's only because of you that we're released. How's that bossing around? And then he goes on to another one of his factual stories. The Israelis, this is like literally kindergarten stuff. The Israelis were in the Pentagon during the 12-day war, and they were bossing them around. The Israeli generals were bossing around the American generals in the Pentagon. And that's something we should not stand for. That's just awful. That's just awful. That's just like them bossing us around. And any self-respecting country wouldn't let them. Are you freaking kidding? Like, what, they were shoving them like in the hallways? Or like going like, move. Now, we are the bosses here. Some Pentagon person, first of all, again, I don't believe a word Tucker said. This, as far as my concern, this never happened. But even if it did, something did happen. So some Pentagon guy told you that some Israelis were rough to him, and that's worthy of you mentioning this. That's America should be ashamed. America should be appalled by the fact that there was an Israeli general who mistreated an Israeli general in the Pentagon, if that ever happened, which obviously I don't believe that it ever happened. But Tucker claims that a general pushed a general in the Pentagon, and America should all be up in arms about that. This is again an example of Israel derangement syndrome, which should get Tucker to say such pathetic 2-year-old stuff, kindergarten stuff, in the name of journalism. Obviously, this is not journalism. This is his opinion rant, anti-Israel rant. So it's not journalism as it is, but to justify, to say such childish, pathetic, buffoonish things, you really have to hate Israel that much to sink to such a level. Is so childish. It's so stupid. So stupid. Israel is bossing around America because they were bossing them around in the Pentagon. I don't even know what that means. What does it mean they were bossing them around? It's like pushing him. It's like, oh, no, the keyboard is mine. No, the mouse is mine. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Trump grabbed the wheel in the limo. Remember that? On January 6th? Trump grabbed the... more than it was a lie, it was a laughable lie. It was so stupid. All the memes that came out afterwards making fun of that, how Trump went over to the Secret Service and grabbed the wheel. That's the level of the stuff we're talking about here. Israel they were bossing them around in the Pentagon. And then just about the Pollard thing, first of all, he just throws in a line like he does. He just throws in lines. So Israel had a spy, Jonathan Pollard, and which he says who probably send the stuff to the Soviet Union. What do you mean who probably send it? No. Where's that probably coming from? Who ever said that Jonathan Pollard gave those secrets to the Soviet Union? No one ever said that. Did the court ever say that? When Pollard was arrested, did the court ever say that he gave it to the Soviet Union? It's the first time I'm hearing about it. Why are you throwing in all these lies? Well, what is this? He probably gave it to the Soviet Union. No, that's an absolute lie. He did not give it to the Soviet Union. Pollard was very, very, a Jew who cared deeply about Israel. So first of all, so that was his motivation. Nothing to do with the Soviet Union. What are you throwing in another lie? It just shows you the character that Tucker is, who just seeps in these subtle lines in there. Complete lies. That's one. Two, the actual story of Pollard. He was spying for Israel, but that was because he saw that it was very, very dangerous information that America was obligated to send to Israel, and America did not. Part of America's relationship with Israel, America was supposed to protect Israel. Whenever anything dangerous was about to happen, America was supposed to share that with Israel. And there were American anti-Semites in the Defense Department that wouldn't share that information with Israel against the policies of their own deep state, basically. And they would not do their obligation, so he went ahead and did that. Now, was he right according to American law? I don't know. It could be he wasn't. But that was his motivation. He saw that there was a danger, and he acted because of the danger to Israel. That was what's going on. So I'm not claiming that he was right for doing that, meaning from a Jewish perspective, he may have been, but from a American citizen, did he deserve to go to jail? Possibly. But to make it his whole, Israel spying in America for years, for ages, and Pollard is a prime example of that, and gave it to the Soviet Union. Again, that's Tucker going on his complete lie rant. So then he brings a video from Bibi, and he claims that Bibi is meddling in American politics. Meddling. So if you have people attacking you and they are in a different country, you're not allowed to respond because you're meddling in their politics. So Tucker could blast Bibi, how Bibi's awful. He just actually, a week ago, called for Israel to get rid of Bibi. He's called, Israel gotta get rid of Bibi. But Bibi cannot respond because then he's meddling. So you hear that. Tucker is literally meddling in Israel politics. It has nothing to do with Israel politics and saying Israel should replace their prime minister. And then when the prime minister responds to all attacks about how he's genocidal and he's awful and he's this and this, if he wants to respond, just to respond, he's meddling in American politics. You hear that? And then when he's saying that we got to talk to Elon, like, because there's all these bots, there's millions of bots going on there, paid bots, probably by Qatar, paid to attack Israel. And when Bibi is saying, speak to Elon, he's our friend, speak to him, tell him that there's anti-Semitism going on, there's all this going on. Oh, it's pressure, it's awful, it's pressure. I don't have to, it's just like, again, part of Tucker's drama and like just taking anything that's straight, honest, good talk and just twisting it to his own way of painting, of just like throwing shade and just painting things in the most awful light as possible. And he's pretending, he's like a snake. He's like what do you call it, in a sheep's skin? A snake in a sheep's skin? Oh. Anyone who criticizes Israel is a woke Reich. No, not anyone who criticizes Israel. The entire left was criticizing Israel. Biden was criticizing Israel. The entire administration was criticizing Israel. No one said that they were anti-Semites. No one said Biden was anti-Semite or Blinken, even though they were stopping Bibi every step on the way. They were making his life hell and Israel's life hell. No one said they were anti-Semites. We just knew they were just liberals. They're just dumb liberals, just like who believe that appeasing the Muslims, appeasing Arabs is gonna work. No one said they're anti-Semites because they were not doing this blood libel thing that Tucker's doing. He's an anti-Semite. They are not anti-Semites. Or at least he's anti-Israel. I think he's anti-Semite. I think he's anti-Semite also because he hated, what's his name? Jared Kushner. He has this passion. During the first Trump term, anytime Tucker used to talk about Jared, he used to have such hate towards him. I was always like, what is this hate? He did the deal with Mexico, like the new NAFTA with Mexico and Canada. He did a great job. They respected him. I remember how the president of Mexico was talking so highly of Jared. Jared did the Abraham Accords, which were great. He did a lot of that during COVID. He was very important. Why do you hate Jared so much? I do think he's an anti-Semite, but regardless of whether he's an anti-Semite or not, he's definitely viciously anti-Israel in a way that makes him, like I said, Israel derangement syndrome. So that's why he's the woke Reich. Not anyone who criticizes Israel. No. Plenty of people criticize Israel. If you say like, oh, I don't believe in this policy, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, say what you want. But when you're going on and making blood libels about Israel, yes. Just check out his lies. I wish I would know how to combine his video with my video. I don't know how to do that. But this secret pressure campaign against Elon, no secret pressure campaign. Bibi's asking to speak to Elon to tame down the bots. That's all. And no censorship in TikTok. Take down those awful bots. There's tons of bots going on there, manufactured, all coordinated, and to take that down, to make it an organic social media platform that is not, that is not to block anyone who says anything. That's to take off the fake bots that's organized by actual other countries who are paying for this, which is not natural, not organic. And about Megyn Kelly, a complete lie. People have no problem with Megyn Kelly doing any sort of criticism in Israel. That's not a problem. The problem is that she's friends with Tucker and friends with Candace. The fact that she could not call out such awful people who are blasting Israel with any awful viciousness, disgusting, when you have a country dealing with monsters and you don't see who's the monster and who's the good and who's the bad. Yeah, you're called out for that. You are called out for that. That shows you have a problem with your morality. If I always want to tell Megyn Kelly, if you would have a friend who would defend turning 5-year-olds into transgenders, you would question your friendship with that person. So on this topic also, there's a problem with your morality if you're okay with such people like Tucker and like Candace. But again, the proof is that people who attack Israel for their policy, That's okay. Like, for example, even Glenn Greenwald, who's awful on his Israel policy, we never had a problem with him so much because, okay, he's like a liberal mindset. So he hates Israel because he's a liberal. This is just derangement syndrome. This is awful. This is just like blasting Israel, making up everything is about Israel. Israel's 9/11. Everything is Israel. That is something that if you're friends with that, you're a problem. This is in regards to Megyn Kelly. So again, not everyone who criticizes Israel has any problem. That's a lie. That's absolutely a lie. You could criticize Israel freely, do as much as you want, but not what he's doing, which is blood libel. That's what it is. Another lie, the base in Doha exists to protect Israel. Absolute lie. Absolute pathetic, buffoony, stupid lie. No, it does not exist to defend Israel. They didn't put a base in Qatar to defend Israel. That's stupid and insane. And it was not a stupid idea to bomb Hamas leaders in Doha. That was actually obvious. If the Hamas leaders are hiding anywhere in the world, they're going to get killed by Israel. That's just like 1 + 1 = 2. Like, that's not a dumb idea. That's basic. It's a dumb idea for Hamas leaders to hide in Qatar, or for Qatar to let them hide there. Another stupidity he's saying here is that the Mossad didn't participate because they were against it. No, that's a front. Israel did not have fractions. The Prime Minister makes the decisions with Mossad and the Shabak all in line. So, no. The game they played in order not to cut ties completely with Qatar, because they had this, they're working with Qatar to free the hostages, they're mediating, the Qatar is a mediator. They played this game where Mossad is, so to speak, out of it, and Shabak is staying in it, is doing it instead of Mossad. It was a clear play. It was a game. It was not any division in Israel about that. Then he goes on to another complete lie, a complete blasphemous lie. Awful, awful. Israel keeps transferring America's military secrets to China. Israel does that? Why would Israel ever do that? Where would Israel do that? What does Israel have to do with China? Oh, because China controls one of Israel's ports, the Haifa port, because Israel, stupidly, honestly, believed in free markets a little too much, so it let China buy multiple companies. So therefore, the military secrets are being transferred to China? Are you crazy? Do you think Israel is that stupid? Israel's not giving a single military secret to China, and Haifa is a commercial port. It has nothing to do with military. Nothing to do with military. It's a commercial port, but Tucker's not going to tell you that. Tucker needs to use that for his lie. So Tucker makes up a lie that Israel's taking American secrets and transferring them to China. Absolute stupid lie. Which, by the way, before that he said how America and China would have been allies. Israel is the one dividing them. Now suddenly, 20 minutes later in the video, Israel is China's ally. Israel is taking America's secret and transferring. You see how? So in the beginning of the video, America and China would have been best friends. It's just Israel. The Israel topic is what's ruining it. Now it's a new thing. In the same video, just 20 minutes later, Israel is China's best friend. Israel is taking American military secrets and moving it to China. It's just so insane. It's just so stupid, so laughable. Israel has plenty of loyalty to America. Israel has shared countless amounts of intelligence with America, saved plenty of Americans' lives. Like I said before, Israel's intelligence is top of the world, and Israel shared it all the time with America, and Israel helps America on plenty and plenty of fronts and tech and everything. Israel does feel deeply like America is its best ally. Everyone in Israel, every citizen in Israel feel that. Everyone in Israel loves America. Everyone supports America. Everyone names streets and stores after American things. Israel absolutely adores America. And everyone in Israel politics adores America and loves America and is grateful to America. It's a complete lie by a snake who's trying to sow division. So I already spoke before about that, how the lie, the stupid, childish lie that the Bibi went around saying that he controls Trump. He never said that. He doesn't think that. He knows that's not true. He does not control Trump whatsoever. He does have a good relationship with Trump. Trump respects him a lot, but he does not control Trump. He has zero leverage over Trump, and he does not control him one bit. And he never, never, never would say that. Ever. So then he shows that clip of Trump saying, I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. Besides the fact that he completely misreads this part of the negotiation tactics, it's part of showing Hamas how he's tough on Israel. That's part of what he's trying to show the Arab nations. He's tough on Israel, and he's not going to allow it now because it's going to get, like, he's trying to show the Arab nations like he has something in Israel. He's going to restrain them. It's all part of the game here, the art of the deal. But you see how the Tucker throws in a little line there. He's like, it's not just the West Bank, obviously. What do you mean, obviously? No. Why is it obvious? Where do you see that it's not just about the West Bank? Where do you see that? What's the obvious? He just throws those lines. He just his lies. He just throws them in. So I spoke before already about that's why Trump is losing support. No. Trump is losing support because Tucker is trying to make him lose support. He wouldn't have lose any support. But Tucker is taking, not Candace, because Candace's listeners are just lunatics. But Tucker's listeners are the people who are the MAGA, the right, who is like independent, a little bit libertarian, who joined the conservatives, young conservatives, and he's just riling them against Trump. He is taking his supporters, Trump supporters, and riling them against Trump. So that's why they're losing support. They're losing support because Tucker's working day and night to take away his supporters. They have no problem if America, they had no problem with Trump in the first term being a lot stronger and, threatening North Korea and being all like tough. No one had any problem with that. But now Tucker is making it an issue. And just unbelievable, the snake. Okay, his next third point, so to speak, even though he had already 15, but his next third point is about not allowing dual citizenship. I don't have much to say about that, but as far as what I know, no other country in the world doesn't allow dual citizenship. Every country in the world allows dual citizenship. So you're going to tell America to be the only country in the world where you cannot have dual citizenship? Tell America to be the only country in the world where you cannot have dual citizenship? Where if someone from Belgium marries an American, suddenly he has to not be Belgium anymore? He wants to become an American. He wants to live in America with his new wife, but now he has to abandon his origin country. He cannot be Belgium because if you had to be American, you can't be. What is that? What is that? We don't do that in the world. That's insane. To me, again, I don't have that much about this topic. It just sounds insane to me, and it sounds part of the Israel derangement syndrome, where you came up with this just because you need to be anti-Israel. So you need to say that people like Ben Shapiro have this dual loyalty and you want to attack them, so you came up with this new policy, which sounds pretty insane and no one in the world does it. So then the fourth point of his video is about the evangelicals supporting Israel, Christians supporting Israel. So a few points about that. Obviously, I'm not a Christian and I'm not in the place to talk about that so much. But first of all, just let's clear out some lies. He talks about the secular government of Israel. The government of Israel is not secular. Is not secular in the sense that the world believes. They're not all observant. They don't observe every single mitzvah, command, which there are plenty. Like you're supposed to pray 3 times a day. You're supposed to wrap on the tefillin every day. You're supposed to keep Shabbat. You can't drive. You can't drive, you can't, you have to prepare the food before, you can't use your phone, you can't turn on electricity, the electricity has to be done before. There's a lot, it's a very serious, if to be observant Jew, which I am, there's a lot that goes into it. People who don't keep every single one of those things, it doesn't mean that they're not religious. 80% of Israel believes in God. 80% at least, maybe 90. 95% of Israelis circumcise. Israeli Jews circumcise. About 80 to 90% fast on Yom Kippur, which we just had, which is like the holiest day of the year. They fast. They all keep somewhat of Shabbat. All have Shabbat dinner. They all celebrate the holidays, all of them. Everywhere in Israel, like any holiday, you have signs everywhere, you celebrate the holiday. Passover, everyone eats, the Passover matzah. Everyone does. So him claiming this like atheist country of Israel is absolutely not true, specifically in Bibi's government. All what we call traditional religious, but not fully observant. The observance level, there's different levels. Like I said, Christianity is a lot lighter. You don't have to do all these commands every day. Judaism, keeping the Torah, is very, very demanding. So not everyone keeps every part of it. But they're all religious. They all believe in God. They all believe in Judaism. So that's a lie. That's just complete mischaracterization and a lie. Another thing, his like play of words with Lindsey Graham, pull the plug. If you don't keep Bibi, if you don't support Bibi, God will kill you. That's not what Lindsey Graham is saying. Support Israel. Israel in any way. You could still criticize Bibi and say, I love the Jewish state of Israel, I love Jews, I'm still going to support Jews, and pull the plug doesn't mean he's going to kill you. America has been a very blessed country. Very, very blessed country. Clearly. And for the Christians to believe, for the evangelical Christians to believe that what it says in the Torah, that if you support the Israelites, if you bless the Israelites, you will be blessed, and if not, you won't. Yes, those are the Jews from back in the day. Israelites are the Jews from back in the day. They're the same Jews. They're the descendants of the Jews. It's not that far-fetched to say that. Why is that so crazy? Why is that so crazy? America's been very blessed. He says America might lose its blessing if America doesn't support the Jews. And the Jews have one nation in the world, one country, and that country is in Israel. So if you want to say Bibi is not the right prime minister, or we want another prime minister, okay, let that be. But I'm not calling for that way. I'm not a Christian. But for Christians to say that is not that wild. And moreover, the audacity and the chutzpah, the audacity and the arrogance for Tucker to tell tens of millions of evangelical Christians and their parents and their priest and their priest's father and their father's priest and their grandfather's priest and the priest's grandfather and all these generations of evangelical Christians, and then comes Tucker, Father Tucker, claims that they're all heretics. They're all heretics. He knows better. Christianity, he knows Christianity. These are all heretics. Their belief in Christianity is absolutely wrong. He knows. Father Tucker knows Christianity. Everyone else who believes that there is a connection between Judaism and Christianity. After all, Jesus was a Jew, and there is a connection. And the theology that believes that there is something to the Christianity is not its own thing. And the New Testament is not separated from the Old Testament. And you have to keep some relationship going on between Christian and Jews. And they tie together with Messiah. And something is going on there. I don't know exactly the evangelical theology, but there's a whole belief system going on that there is a connection, and you have to support each other, and you have to support the Jews and their country and their nation in general. Nation, which now that's the only Jewish country in the world, for him to say that's all heresy, that's such arrogance, such audacity. And honestly, I don't think Tucker is such a arrogant guy. I don't think he's such an arrogant guy. But again, like I've been saying the whole time, Israel derangement syndrome just takes him so far. I don't think naturally he's such an arrogant guy. He just such hate, such a snake, such hate of Israel that he's saying the craziest things one after another, the stupidest things, and then just going on and telling tens of millions of Christians that they're all heretics because Father Tucker knows better. Unbelievable. So then he closes with the last point, which is actually very good to close with, because that's going to touch on the entire story of the Palestinian conflict, which is that he claims that the people who are defending Israel are justifying killing the innocent. And anyone who justifies killing the innocent is a heretic, period. You know what Tucker does, period. So, killing the innocent, that's again such a childish, stupid, 5-year-old claim. Killing the innocent. Anyone who kills any terrorist is going to deal with killing innocents. When America took out bin Laden, there were 4 innocent people around him that were killed. Some women, his guard, his this, his that. That's what killing terrorists requires. They live among the population. It's not an army. They live among the people. They hide among the people. Every terrorist group in the world hides among the people in order to kill the threat, in order to protect yourself, in order to defend your people from terrorists. You're going to have to kill some innocent people. You don't want to, but that's just going to happen. For him to claim Israel's killing innocent people, and if you're defending that, you are a heretic. That's just such. You're not even using like snake tactics to attack. You're using childish tactics. You're using bullet points of a 5-year-old. This is a bullet point of a 5-year-old. Anyone who kills innocent, we can't kill innocents. Well, when America went to war with Germany, it killed millions of innocents. When that's part of war. That's part of killing terrorists. We would wish not to. Israel wants to live in peace. Israel doesn't want to do any war, doesn't want to kill anybody. It just wants to live in peace. But these people are hiding among civilians, and they're killing us. So should we just let ourselves be killed? Because we cannot be heretics. We don't want to be heretics in Tucker's world, so let's just die. Let's just die and not kill the terrorists because Tucker doesn't let us kill civilians. What do you mean? That's just so childish, so stupid, pathetic, ignoring any sophistication or complication or anything, just bullet points of a child. With that, we'll conclude this video and hope I could counter a little bit of his demagoguery and lies and snake venom and just clean up the air a little bit and have some truth prevail. Amen.